Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of One Sunday in February 1942, a story by Thomas Keneally. Thomas Keneally is an Australian novelist. He has written more than 40 books and he has also won the Booker Prize Award for Skinless Arc. His famous works are The Great Shame, The Commonwealth of Thieves, Bring Larks and Heroes, The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, Gossip from the Forest, Skinless Arc, and The People's Train. He has won the Miles Franklin Award, the Booker Prize, the Los Angeles Book Prize, the Royal Society of Literature Prize, the Scripta Award of the University of Southern California, the Mondola International Prize, the Helmrich Prize, and he was also ordained with the Order of Australia in 1983 for his services to literature. The themes of the story are wartime fear, moral ambiguity, and the fragility of innocence in the face of imminent danger. One Sunday in February 1942 is an extract from one of his novels. This short story was written in the backdrop of the war in the Battle of Darwin. The bombing of Darwin is also known as the Battle of Darwin, which happened on 19th February 1942, and it was the largest single attack ever mounted by a foreign power on Australia. Darwin was a vital asset in the defense against the Japanese in World War II. But on the 19th of February 1942, Darwin was overwhelmed by Japanese air raids which destroyed buildings and killed hundreds of people. It was the largest attack on Australia in World War II and left the city of Darwin in ruins. The story revolves around the character Frank Dara, a priest, and his encounters in one day. He travels by the electric train on a Sunday morning to his hometown. He sees a beautiful young woman and her son during the journey. Their closeness invokes feelings in him which made him wonder the challenge of celibacy. He is reminded of his spiritual advisor Dr. Chahil, who had once said the institution of celibacy is not a mere sacrifice of pleasure. It asks of a man that he will be the end of the line. Frank had to change trains at the central station, so he takes on a different route from the mother son duo. There was a huge crowd at the station, and they were all Navy officers, air officers, and other soldiers who were saying goodbye to their family. Looking at these brave soldiers was a really inspiring sight. He was comforted to imagine that the purpose of having priests was to pursue divine order, even when the rest of the mankind was involved in war. He starts reading Breviarium Romanium, a book on winter, and numerous thoughts flash in his mind. He questions his newness in the locality and his decision of keeping up the requirements of priesthood. Frank reaches his ancestral house, Arbroath, and meets his uncle Madge and his mother. His aunt had lost a lover in the Great War. He dines with them and they discuss rationing and his aunt's love for movies. He then visits his neighbor Mr. Regan, who takes him to his bomb shelter. They discuss the tense situation where attack might happen at any time. He wishes to send his family to Kutamundra, to a relative's place, to keep them safe. But since he is a real agent, he has to survive doing this real estate work to make a living and brave the unexpected, whatever may happen. Frank thanks him for taking care of his aunt and mother and exchanges his goodbyes to leave his town. The stream of consciousness thoughts that run through the narration when Frank travels by train expresses his idea of sacrifice. At the station, the sight of the soldiers going for the war out of loyalty triggers these thoughts in Frank. He wonders that these people are making a great sacrifice by being apart from their family for the greater welfare of all the people in the country. To take up celibacy is an act of sacrifice for Frank, and his preaching is his act of loyalty for the greater good of humanity. Thus, celibacy and war are seen as sacrifice by Frank Darragh. War turns the everyday life of people upside down. Here, the hints are provided in the story when they discuss the sight of soldiers parting or about the rationing of food. When the Daras sit down to have dinner, they don't seem to have enough because of the rationing. Food is very little. The bomb shelter, as being a normal place for people to meet and having beer, show how war and bombing are a regular occurrence. The parallel between Mr. Regan trying to continue his work as a real estate manager shows the attempt at normalcy or survival in these bad times. He is asked to rent houses for the Americans and he comments on their cultural values as he found one colonel had set up a love nest. Frank, too, in his own way, tries to fight his mental battles. He seems to need reassurance of his services as necessary for the times. Despite sitting in a train on hot Sunday afternoon, he reads a book on winter as is expected of him. Here, the author subtly highlights a question of loyalty, war, and migration through the story. The effect of war on daily routine and in mundane affairs is expressed in the novel. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.